Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna do the intro today. Hey everybody, it's Mal and here's Alex. And we are a couple that talk about a couple things.
This is why we're banning the intro. It just sounds ugly. Anyway,
It does.
let's get into today's episode brought to you by... Yeah,
Bubble tea.
no. We're not drinking.
I didn't
Don't-
say what the brand was.
No, but don't drink bubble tea. It's really bad for you.
It is, but this is the first time I had one in like 3 months.
Okay. Anyway, so... Yeah, what do you want to get into first?
I think we should just get right into the main thing. Well, we'll do music, but the first thing with music, let's start with Drake.
The Drake album.
Drake.
Honestly, never mind. A surprise album that was released by Drake featuring a number of dance tracks. I believe it's around 14 different songs.
There's
House
14
music.
songs.
House music
It was
and dance, Jersey,
Club music,
kind of vibes.
TikTok music.
Yeah. So go for it. Give them your breakdown about how much you loved it.
If anybody's a returning viewer or listener, which I feel like we have a few, we usually get reviews right away. Shout out to you guys. You guys know I don't like Drake. I do not like that man. I haven't liked him since If You're Reading This Is Too Late. That was like the last album I really liked from him. Or you know what? What happened? What was What Time to Be Alive was after that, right? Because What Time to Be Alive was our sophomore year of college. I think If You're Reading This Too Late, it was freshman year. So What Time to Be Alive, like that era. I have my own reasons, but yeah. So I'm really overcritical of Drake. And it's funny because when we reviewed Donda and we talked about CLB, we said that that was like one of my issues, is that Drake doesn't experiment. I feel like he has like the same type of music. Like he's kind of peaked as far as like creative expression. So then listening to this album, I was like, I made a joke. I'm like, oh, so he really took that criticism and was like, all right, you guys want to see me experiment? Here you go. And it was bad. Like, people want to get on Twitter and they want to be like, you guys just don't like house music. You guys like that low vibrational music. You guys don't have passports, because people with passports and credit score is over 680. I swear I've seen this. They say, yeah, credit score is 680 and over, and passport people like this. I'm like, first of all, 680 is not even high. That's not even a flex to even say my score is 680.
I would almost say 680 isn't a good credit score.
It's not. I think 720 minimum. Everybody should have over 720. I almost have 800.
I wouldn't even.
Who cares?
Never mind.
I don't know why people act like credit scores are secretive. It's just like your grades. It's just a grade on how well you pay back bills. But I know identity theft, whatever. But yeah, I'm like, what kind of, like, I'm like, the girl who must have made the post must have a 680, because she, like, why was that your minimum, right? Like, she had to include herself.
I think
in
on
there.
the scale, 680 is considered okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's even considered good. I think good is over 700. Excellent, I think, is over 7.
No, I
What's
don't-
excellent? You're in excellent range, right? Like, excellent gang.
So I don't have my phone with me, but
It depends on the scale.
I don't want to, I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
But 680, no matter what,
680 is not
680 is
good.
not a good or high credit score at
It's
all.
like mid. It's literally a mid score. So I'm like, who made this? She
Wait.
must have made that rank.
When you could get a score over 800, 680 is not high.
Yeah. And it was so easy for me to get into the high 700s. So that's why I'm like, I'm not impressed by 680. Like, it took nothing for me to get this score. I just paid my bills in time and paid off my debt. That's it.
I think the last time I had a 680 credit score, I might have been,
In college.
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't have
same.
a credit history.
Literally. And that's the reason why our score was so low, because of the lack of credit history. And even now, my age is like 8 years, and that's still not even considered great. I think that's considered like this yellow. Like, whenever I look, it's like yellow. Our age is still young considered, but
Anyway,
anyways, yeah, she was like, this is dancing on a yacht and Ibiza music. I'm like, have you ever even been to Ibiza? Because when I'm looking on your page, you look like you had never been to Ibiza on a yacht. Like, who are these people talking about? I'm like, girl, I've been out of the country the first time when I was 4 years old, pre 9/11. I have a passport. My credit score is in the high 700s, and I don't like the album. So now what? Like, I don't understand this eliteness that people are trying to put around the album now. Like, this is rich, vibey music. If you're broke, just say that. I'm like, what is this obsession with people calling other people broke and they're broke? Like, you guys don't even got money calling people broke. It's so crazy to me. Like, I can't. I'm like, it's just, and then people try to say, okay, if you don't like house music, to say that. I'm like, a lot of us like house music. It's not good house music. Like, it's okay that the album is bad. Like, if people want to cape for him so bad, like, I know I'm a huge Kanye stan. And I do the same thing if people don't like a Kanye album. But to a certain point, I'd be like, you know what, you're right. This is kind of mid, Kanye. I love you, but this kind of it. Like when we were talking about Yeezus the other day, I'm like, Yeezus is good, but yeah, a lot of it is kind of like, I could admit it. If you're a real Drake fan, when did you want him to get better? Like when did you not? When did you say like, okay, this album wasn't good? It was like somebody said, make a house music album, and he did the bare minimum. Like it was like it was like, you know, your typical example. It was almost like he said, I'm gonna make Jersey Club and house music, and this is what he thought it sounds like. It's like there's a slap in the face to real authentic good house music. If Drake was gonna do house music, he should have did it right. It's not that nobody don't like house music. They just don't like what he did with it. It sounded like Forever 21 music, and good house music does not sound like Forever 21 music to me, right? Good house music doesn't. So that's really my main issue. It's just the way people are acting elite around it on social media. It's like, no.
Yeah, no. It was somebody, I do think that man, I have so many different opinions on this, and I could speak on this forever. Maybe I'll do it on my own personal channel because I could go deep down into the history of music and really get into it. So me personally, I did not like it at all. At first, when it came on, I thought it was a joke or a prank or something like that. I thought I might have clicked on the wrong link and it was somebody else's project. Now, the thing is, like you mentioned, it's not necessarily that Drake experimented or made a house music album. And as much as the prideful Jerseyan in me is and doesn't necessarily like people touching club music that's outside of Jersey, Philly,
Baltimore,
outside of that, like
it is cringe.
Yeah, because it's different, right? Like it's Newark music. Like it's like a different thing. It's like somebody jumping on it, right? It's the culture of it that
like any party you go to in Jersey, they're playing club music.
And I feel like that culture has now expanded in terms of people being aware of it because of TikTok. And as much as I hate when other people use Jersey Club and like dance to it, or because you know it's the prideful thing is like I feel like I only.
It sounds like they're making a mockery of it sometimes too.
Right.
Like it's TikTok music. Like since when is Jersey Club TikTok music?
Jersey Club been around for decades probably at this point.
Yeah, almost 20, like about 20 years.
Almost about 20 years. And we can have the argument about whether house music started in Jersey or Chicago. I'm gonna roll with Jersey and say it was from Jersey because that's
a big argument.
Because that's where Jersey Club derived from, was from house music, and the concept of a house party. Like house parties are not like, that wasn't like a common thing around the country. Like I don't think people really even understand how deep music history gets in terms of like, you know, apartment parties in New York, or like when DJing and scratching and that was created in New York. Like there's so many different deep conversations about music that I won't get into here. But basically, long story short, I feel like it was a disservice to people that really produce house music, because it's one of those things almost like kind of like when Will Smith jumped on YouTube and started making YouTube videos. It's like the person that has the celebrity and then just jumps into all these different avenues because they know that people are going to support them. And you know,
it's like not authentic.
Like do what you want. Of course, I'm not going to ever say people aren't allowed to do something and keeping people in a box. But if you're going to step outside of that box, then at least do it the correct way, because there's so many talented people, you know, music-wise, that come out of New Jersey. Like there's a lot of people that, you know, you probably wouldn't even necessarily know came from Jersey, writing the biggest hits, the Jersey Club movement and wave. Like there's so much talent here, and I feel like
talking about that girl who writes it.
Yeah, Naja.
Yeah, and she performed at American Dream yesterday.
Yeah, like there's so many people like that you could have tapped into, at least for the Jersey Club aspect, because those songs were cool, but like they weren't like it was like
it's not real Jersey Club.
It's not. It's like if you told somebody make a Jersey Club song that never
they never even stepped foot in Jersey.
Right. That's what it would sound like. Like the Bed Squeak song was like horrible.
It's like just like the textbook Jersey Club.
Yeah,
like just what they think it sounds like.
The kick pattern, and then let me put like a bed squeak on it, which is not what Jersey Club is. So it was bad. So I would just wish he would at least tapped into people in Jersey that are extremely talented producers that really do Jersey Club crazy, because I listen to Jersey Club every day.
A lot of them spoke out too.
Yeah,
like J Hood said something.
Because J Hood also was a victim of the Drake.
So many times. Well, just in general, who's been like, I feel like victim. But yeah, of Drake before, right?
Yeah, with the To The Max song where he sampled the Heartbroken. Like we all know the Heartbroken J Hood went crazy on that. This thing is still classic to this day, and you know Drake took that one too. So it's just like you should have tapped in with Jersey at least for that. House music I can't really speak to, but at least even get into you know people that really produce house music because it sounded very empty and the production of it wasn't great. If the production was bigger, then I would have you know kind of saw what he was going for, but it just seemed really lazy. Like I could have made that album to be honest with you.
Then that was like another thing too. It was like textbook house music. Like if somebody said make a house music album, and hasn't really tapped into their culture.
Yeah,
Like people, you know, it's a funny thing is it sounds like some of the music people are talking about anyway. Like it sounds like the white people version of house music.
right. Exactly. That's the other thing. Like house music
yeah.
versus like the EDM
Yeah.
party. Well, what it more so sounded like, because even if you want to break down different different variations of house music, like in electronic music, like there's electronic, there's trance, there's dance. What else is there? There's a lot of different things, a lot of different variations, even of that. And it just wasn't. It wasn't there for me,
Yeah.
production wise.
Yeah. It was just like I think the best way to describe it is like you said, empty.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound.
It doesn't sound finished.
It doesn't sound expensive.
It's like throwaway tracks,
Yeah.
honestly.
And like my guess and thought was like how I said he signed that huge deal with Universal and how typically you have to sign a X amount of album deal. So you sign a contract for 3 albums, 4 albums, whatever. And I think that, you know, similar to the way he did If You're Reading This It's Too Late, when he put that out, that was to close out a contract agreement for X amount of albums. So he put that out as a surprise album to fulfill a label contract agreement. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case here too. He just put out a bunch of throwaways, doesn't care because he's Drake anyway. It's still projected to do 200, I think,
Still gonna
anyway.
do good, yeah.
Right? It's still going to do what it's going to do. And he fulfills at least one album on that new contract, is my assumption.
Funny enough, too, that's what his merch said. If you're reading this, honestly, never mind.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe that was like a hint at like this was the same thing.
Yeah, like a business thing, maybe something with Birdman, Wayne, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some people do forget about the business of music itself. It's not just people making songs that we want other people to like and listen to. There's a whole business. There's contracts, agreements. People have different agendas and, you know, that sort of thing. But bottom line, I think the album was bad. I listened to the Jimmy Cook song that other people were liking. At first time, when we first heard it, I was like, okay, cool. We got some good music because, you know, we listened to that all the bad dance music before that. But then I listened to it.
It's just so random though. It's just one trap song.
And I listened to it in the car, and I don't like it.
Really? I haven't listened to it after.
I liked it because of the contrast from what we were just hearing. But then when I listened to it in the car, I'm like, this is really bad. 21 went crazy, but
as usual.
Let me not say bad. It was like okay, like it was just, you know, typical.
But see, that's for the people online again. They're like, oh, you guys like that low vibrational stuff. That's why that's the only one you like. It's just like people are just annoying because it's like they should know a lot of black people. We love house music. Like I'm not a fan of it. It's not like that's like my go-to thing. It's not like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go listen to house music. Like it's usually not a go-to thing for me. But if I'm in an environment where it's playing, I like it. I'm vibing to it. So I'm like, I don't understand what this whole like people on Twitter trying to like. It's always like I just hate how there's always some type of like class divide when it's just differing opinions. There's always got to be some elitist people being elite or elitist and not even elite people.
That's the interesting part. And usually these conversations end up going completely left, and I don't want to do that. But it is interesting, again, because statistically, you know how much people make in the country and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to it would be interesting to understand what level of salary where that mindset switches.
These people aren't making a lot. Like
50,
1
40.
minute, yeah. They're making 50 and they think they arrived. Like 1 minute you like it's just so weird. Like you guys crying about $2,000 rent, which isn't even crazy. Like it's not crazy. Maybe I'm speaking from my position, but it's not. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But it's first of all, we have this conversation. It's the prices that they're complaining about is luxury apartments. You could find $600, $700 apartments anywhere. Like you guys just want apartments you can't afford. That's why you guys are crying about rent. But it's like 1 minute you see people $5 gas. $2,000 rent, inflation, the famine's coming. Like, first of all, the famine is not coming, but okay, relax. And then the next minute it's, you guys don't got passports And people are like, it's nothing to get a passport. Like, why is this like a wealth thing to you guys? Like, it's nothing to get a passport. Like, it's just people are so weird.
How much is a passport? Like $200?
I don't even know. It might be less than that. I don't remember. It might be less than that.
I got a passport and a passport card, so I can go across the borders in North America. It's kind of
Like,
nice.
it's just
You should get one.
make up your mind. Like,
should get one.
you can't cry about gas prices. Next minute, you're like passport. Yeah, and
Passport
Ibiza music. What are you talking about? You guys never even left this hemisphere. You talking about passport and Ibiza music? Like,
And even if they have, still,
even if they have,
it's still not applicable.
It's still like, okay. It's like somebody in the comments was like, I've been to 30 countries, the album trash. I'm like, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
I saw a lot of responses like that.
yeah, like,
680 credit score is still funny.
yeah. I swear the girl who made that tweet was
I
gotta make sure I'm in here.
I screenshotted it. It's on my phone because it was just
Hers
funny.
is probably like 686, so she had to like add the 680 in there. Like that was saying something. Like you should have said,
680.
how come she couldn't say 700 plus? She must be
Even-
in the 680 range.
Yeah, even if it didn't apply to her, you should have bumped that number up because I
It's
don't think
700.
people know that credit score goes like above 800, so you can
It
still
goes to 850.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think it even goes beyond that, to be honest with you, because like Jay-Z said, he has unlimited credit.
I personally have never been denied anything in my life. And the album was trash.
Yeah,
I got $20,000 what's it called, limit on my credit card just increased for no reason.
you just
And the
came
album was trash.
you just came back from 2 countries.
Yeah, it came out from 2 countries, literally. Well, Puerto Rico's a territory.
It's a country.
It is? Oh yeah, it's still a separate, it's still considered a country, right?
It still is. You
But
think the
yeah.
album would have rang off in Puerto Rico?
No.
Okay.
But the thing is, these clubs in these countries that are kind of more like Americanized, they probably would have played the songs.
Yeah, it's gonna do what it's gonna do
It's
because
still
it's
gonna be
Drake, right?
played,
Like,
yeah.
but that's okay. It's still bad.
It's still bad, and like I just don't understand. Like nobody lets you have a differing opinion. There's 7.4 billion. I don't know the exact number of people on this planet, and you guys are mad that people have a differing opinion. Like now you're trying to make it into this weird thing. It's just like I don't get it. I really just don't get this fake trying to see like I have money thing, but then crying about rent and talking about the famine's coming and scared of the recession. What are you scared of the recession for? The recession happens like every six to 10 years. Like we lived through like 4 recessions already. What are you scared of? Like, but then now it's passport music. It's just like people don't know where they're at. They want to be on the side of social justice, and next minute they want to be calling people broke. They don't know what they want. There's so many people just who have no identity, so we had this conversation about soft life people. Like they just like to jump onto whatever to feel like they're involved in something. Like they feel like they fit some
It's
type
so
of
I cannot.
bucket.
I hope I live to see the day where everybody grows up. But you know what's sad? Like
People already grown up. Like
that is true.
I've seen people talk about like they're getting humble. Like I think they're going to their 20s and they're realizing, yeah, all that issue I was popping in college. What do you got to show for it?
What's funny too is that a certain family member of mine uses Facebook, and like you'll see that I can't tell though, right? Because that generation that I'm seeing on Facebook is still a little bit different because they didn't grow up in social media era and we grew up in social media era. So I think there still is some differences, but based on that, like it really doesn't change. Like I just saw like they were on their Facebook profiles, like women debating whether men look good with hairy chests or not. It's very interesting.
Like-
I wonder how this generation will be later down the line. I know there'll be some people that'll have the regrets, and we see some people now having regrets.
People are already realizing it because everybody in our age group is 20. They're already 26. We not there yet. We got a few more months, but they're already 26, heading towards 27. I think they're seeing it. They're realizing a lot of things. I'm not. I'm very happy where I'm at in life, honestly, because everything that we were saying years ago, we were saying for a reason.
Shout out to my parents.
Shout out to my parents too. And shout out to you because obviously, we help each other.
Shout out to you.
Thanks. But yeah, it's like we've been saying this stuff too, like for years. Nobody wants to listen until it's too late. I don't care though. It doesn't affect me. As long as my family good, we good, friends good. I don't care about anybody else, honestly. But yeah, it's just funny. It really doesn't change though, like you said, because you do see the older generation, like people in their 50s are still, like you said, on Facebook, still
Blaming it.
trying to make
Other
them look like they
things.
got money too. Still trying to do the fake flexing is still happening.
You know,
It's so crazy.
I was also getting the rundown about I probably shouldn't even say this, but I was getting a rundown allegedly about some people's marriages, allegedly someplace, allegedly where I used to allegedly live. And it really doesn't change. I'm not going into detail because I don't want people to connect the dots, because people may be able to connect the dots, but it's very interesting. Things don't change, and it's pretty
like asking if hairy chest is attractive. Like, how old are you? Like, if you think it's attractive, then it's attractive. It's not. If not, like, why does everybody have to wait around for somebody to tell them how to feel about something?
I don't know what this has to do about the Drake thing, but it's just social media in general is interesting. But yeah, it's definitely not Ibiza music. They have way better music over there.
Their music is like Spain,
like Italian,
maybe over there.
They really, but that's what I mean. Like, they really do it, and I listen to every type of music, so it's not. I'm not.
And there's like not even house music too. There's more. It's like techno. Like that's another thing too. You guys don't even know what you're talking about. Like
techno is another one.
It's like more of like a techno beat over there.
Like there's techno, rave, trance. There's house. There's so many different There's so many different genres, but people want to loop anything with a synth. People just say it's EDM music, but even that, like, there's dubstep, and then there's so many different other iterations of music. Just like in hip hop, there's West Coast music. There's Florida music. Atlanta music is the most popular right now. There was New York. Like, it's the same thing with the electronic sort of music. So it's like,
and it's like if you were a real house music fan, then you would know this wasn't good house music.
It just wasn't.
Like just because it's Drake,
right? And just because it's a familiar voice,
Drake's not gonna pick you. He's not.
Just because it's a familiar voice, people are more inclined to like it. But if anybody else dropped that same album, they would have said it was garbage.
If it was the same exact person,
like if Chance the Rapper dropped that album,
same lyrics,
he would get smoked, same everything, same Jimmy Cook song. Everybody would get flamed. So it's like, I take my bias out of everything. I told you, I'm the most unbiased person when it comes to music, and I take all of my opinions out of it. It's the same reason I can listen to a song with somebody that has 3 views on SoundCloud and think it's better than somebody that's a
literally you be playing songs, I'd be like, who is this? Like, I would think it's just some mainstream song.
I'm like, no, this is just some random person that had 27 plays on SoundCloud that I just came across and thought this song was amazing.
And that's the thing too, once you put that bias out, because I'm listening to music, not really, admittedly, I'm not the best expert in music. Like, I listen to just the same people. I'm very like in the box, like, of what I listen to. So you playing that, it's not like I'm knowing who that is. So my bias is already away because I don't know who this is, and I'm thinking this is something mainstream.
And it's not.
And it's not. But if I would have seen it on SoundCloud, saw the plays, I would. Sometimes your bias just instantly thinks, oh, this has to be bad because it doesn't have plays or views.
Yeah, right. And I'm not like that, right? Like, I take my bias out of everything because that opens your mind and opens your world to so many different types of music and things like that. Like, I know you hate when I play, not hate, but like, it's funny when I play things like country music or like hard metal rock music, like that kind of stuff. But when you take your bias out of everything and really open your world to all different types of music, it really does help a lot, because then you get to see everything's so incorporated. Like, you can listen to a rock song and then appreciate what somebody like Mike Dean does when he plays a guitar on like a hip hop song. So it's just, that's how I listen to music. So I'm not a fan of anybody. Like, I've started to say, like, remove that word, because I'm not a fanatic about anybody. I think that there's people that make good music, and I think that people make a good collection of music. But me liking the music that somebody makes is separate from who they are. Like, I'm not looking at Drake as somebody that made So Far Gone and Views and all these different albums. That's not in my mind when I'm listening to the new Drake album. I don't care about how much money. I don't care about the yachts. I don't care about the mansions. I don't care about this level of success. I don't care about the Grammys. I take all of that out and just listen to the music for what it is, and it's either good or bad.
All those accolades,
in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, they don't make you invincible to making bad music. Like, people forget that we're still humans at the end of the day. You still got to strip. That's what I was telling you earlier, because, like, Beyonce is about to drop, and I'm like, so many people really get really excited when about Beyonce, and she's been in the game for a minute now, like, and she hasn't dropped the album, so I'm sure there's gonna be a great album. But it's just like it's always like just interesting to see the reaction to people, like, oh, I know this is about to be a hit. It's like, how do you know it's gonna be a hit? Like, you do have to just still put the human in, make sure know that that's still a human being, and like, obviously Beyonce the perfectionist, and I'm sure it's great, and she puts out good music, but sometimes people still just forget that these people are humans, and that sometimes humans just make bad music. Like, even if you're a 20-time Grammy artist, like, you still might drop a bad song because you're not perfect.
Yeah, and if we want to even take the word bad out of it, just
Just not,
genuine,
yeah,
yeah, just genuinely not
not up to
widely
par.
accepted or
Yeah.
whatever sort of
Even
phrase.
if they're experimenting, they think it's good, it still might not be received well.
Yeah,
And that's okay. Like, people are so annoying.
yeah.
Like,
So for this one, I wasn't mad at the experimentation. If anything, I thought that this was the only other route that Drake could go down, was more
true.
so the pop uh, dance sort of the weekend sort of route, because I don't think that if you look at some of the other major genres like country, I don't think a Drake country album would have rang off. I don't think a Drake, because he's already done R&B
Yeah.
ish out. Like, I mean, Take Care is
Yeah.
pretty R&B.
He's done hip hop, obviously. Rap,
Yeah,
and
he's
trap,
done. Yep, he's done Atlanta trap,
island music,
right,
London drill, the UK
all that
drill.
kind of stuff. There's not many other genres that I feel like would have been had any level of sort of success, right? Like country is crazy. Like if you dropped a blues album or a jazz album, I don't think anybody's listening to that. So I think that this was the only route. So in my opinion, I think it was the right way to go, but done incorrectly.
And like you said, especially if it was just dropped just to get it out there, then that makes sense. And it's like,
But you have to care.
yeah, you still should have to care. Like, you have fans out there who literally like as first of all, like, to that, like, not even just because you have fans out there, but this is your discography.
That's the thing.
This is your legacy. So even if you feel like, okay, I'm just dropping it to fulfill like whatever or contract agreements, this is still your legacy. Like, you should still make sure it's good music. Like, we didn't need 2 albums in a 9-month period. Like, no, you could have waited. So, yeah. I'm just not a Drake fan anyway, so obviously I was a little more overcritical with things, but it just wasn't good. Like,
Yeah, it just wasn't. And I've listened to it again. That's the other thing. Because it did sound better on additional listens, but it still was like, eh. And then like I don't know, something about the Jersey Club thing was like,
yeah, it was very off-putting. And then you see people who don't even live in Jersey, like this girl from Cali, like, oh my God, this song Sticky is gonna hit on TikTok. I'm like, ew. Like,
it's
you guys are
nasty
so
behavior.
annoying.
The hip thing, like, it gotta stop.
Yeah.
We gotta get that out of here. It was
It's
sucks.
too far. It's like it's getting weird. And it's just annoying because like that was like a thing. Like, obviously, that's a
that was
Jersey
a culture.
dance.
Yeah. You know what the thing is
And now
too?
it became a TikTok thing. And
And
then
a
Philly's
TikTok
trying to take
dance.
it over. And it's just like, I can't anymore.
Yeah, now it's a TikTok dance, and it's only gonna. It's just one of those things, right? I think it'll come and go. I don't think that people are gonna continue to be shaking their hips on TikTok, just like people.
6 months is going to be gone.
If that, because other dances we haven't even seen them.
That whole, remember what was that thing? We used to do like the
whoa.
Is that what it's called, the whoa?
Yeah, it was
They don't be doing that no more.
iteration,
And I
yeah.
used to be in every TikTok dance. And I used to hate that because I'm bad at it. And I was like, why? This isn't every hip hop. Every TikTok dance. Like
Right, and then that thing goes. I think that this dance helps because it allows women to shake their ass like on TikTok, and that gets them views and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's why I think it like allows. That's why it's still
that's
around.
what's still a thing. Yeah, because people were trying to get their views off still.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. It's just getting your views off. But eventually, I think it's gonna stop because people are doing the hip thing to like Luther Vandross, and it's just like
Yeah, it's getting
become
weird.
excessive.
I'm
yeah.
like, there's no reason I'm hearing this song again for the first time in like 15 years, and this is why I'm hearing it on TikTok. Like, they're using any song. I'm like, it's getting weird. Like, TikTok has its pros and cons, but a lot of times it's like, especially get this younger generation who doesn't really even understand what they're listening to or who they're listening to or the significance of these songs.
Yeah, we sound old, but it is like, yeah. And also I guess to at least my final point is that it is a disappointing thing for me because I don't feel like the person that set so many trends like Drake did with people, feeling more comfortable, people that can't necessarily sing like an R&B singer, singing on songs, the influence that Drake and 40 had on overall sonically. If I want to get into my producer bag real quick, 40's filters and the way that he EQs sounds, where he completely removes the sound from the EQ as opposed to even just filtering it. The way the drums, like underwater drums, like that kind of thing, didn't exist, prior to things like Take Care, So Far Gone. So the way that they revolutionized music there, Drake rapping and singing over trap beats, like that whole influence is disappointing to see somebody that pushed music so far and to the point where it is today to and literally influenced all the R&B singers today to be like rapping over R&B beats, to be rapping and singing at the same time, kind of like a Chris Brown sort of thing. And just the overall trap use of trap drums on R&B songs was really like Drake's doing. And it's sad to see that level of influence then resort to this, where it's like reaching for things like TikTok, shake your hips music.
And that's why sometimes it makes you like think, it's like, do you feel like some artists should just
Quit.
stop?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I get that with Kanye too. Like, I'm like, you know, Donda was good, but was it his best album? No, obviously not. Like, it kind of went away from where he was going towards with the less music, less is more. Like, his albums were like 10 songs, like from, you know, 808s Heartbreaks. I don't know. I think that album's a little longer, but like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, that's where it kind of started with the whole 10 song albums. Like Yeezus obviously was like a 12 song. It was, you know, not that many songs. And then now, you know, then you have Donda that was so long. And it's like, it was still a good album. And like, obviously, you know, he's constantly revolutionizing the listening parties, you know, that was iconic. So like, he's still, you know, so he's still evolving. Obviously, that True Love song was good. Like, he, you know, Life of the Party was really good. So he's still making good music. And that's why, you know, I'm not encouraging him to stop. But sometimes you do worry with people like Drake and Kanye that that's a certain point where it's like, just keep your legacy clean and cute. And like, you know, even Beyonce is in their age group, well, Drake's in his 30s, but you know, in the 40s with Kanye, and like, you know, Jay-Z's up there in 50s. And she's dropping another album. So
I think it's more, maybe not so much about give up, but I think that the focus should be different, because like Scorpion and More Life from Drake, if I remember correctly, Scorpion was like a double disc with like 28 songs on it, 30 songs on it, something crazy. That to me is like so poor, because I feel like you can't make a body of work that large, especially that quickly, and
not
have
late
it
in
be
your career
like,
too.
And have it be good, because Take Care was long.
But that was early in his career, so we were hearing all new songs, new sounds from him. Like, it was new. When you were this late in your career,
I feel like you should definitely cut down on the amount of songs, because, you know,
10, honestly, for me, 10 is good.
The way that I think about it is, you know, what made me a good writer, not music writer, but a good writer in general, is one professor or teacher I had at some point, I don't recall when this happened, but they were like, write with a purpose. Like, don't just put words into a sentence just to put words into a sentence. If you go to each single word and it's not cohesive or not important to the sentence itself, then don't put it in there, right? And that's why I feel like there should be the same mindset when it comes to making albums. Like, if there's no point, like if this song isn't going to tell people more about you, or if you don't feel like this song is revolutionary, then you might as well not even put it on the album. And I feel like this whole album was that it hasn't done anything. It hasn't pushed music. It hasn't, because
it's a filler. It was just there.
Because it was experimental, but it really wasn't. Because in my opinion, I think it's experimental, yeah, in the sense that Drake hasn't done it before, but not experimental in the sense of music itself. Because it's like a kind of like a guaranteed formula. Let me take the Jersey Club kick pattern.
Template that he took.
Yeah, let me take the Jersey Club kick pattern, rap over it. It's guaranteed, because the Jersey Club kick pattern is beautiful, and Jersey Club production is beautiful.
It's trendy right now.
And house music is 4 on the floor kicks, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody does that because it gives people tempo. Like, it's kind of like a hack. So I don't know.
It's not like he was revolutionizing anything or changing house music. Like pitting his like version of house music.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, like, that's what experimenting is.
Right.
Not taking a formula and a template and putting your own voice over it.
Right, just
that's
because the voice is familiar.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. We done killed it for 30 minutes about the album.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think.
I don't like Drake. But I was being unbiased. I don't like him, but I was being unbiased.
Yeah.
I mean, so with music, we could. I don't really have anything to say about Beyonce. Like, I kind of inserted her. Oh my God, I can't talk. Inserted her.
What is there to talk about? The song ain't come out yet.
Yeah, this song didn't come out. It was coming out in 3 hours, 2 hours.
All right, let's transition.
But her album's coming out, so, you know, we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about it. Whoa. Relax.
All right, let's get
anything else with music?
No, because I don't think that there was really a ton of music that came out. I know, like Joey Badass pushed his album back.
Yeah. Somebody else was supposed to drop music.
Brent Faiyaz. So I'm waiting for those two.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's an additional album, but definitely those two I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Other things.
I said Nicki might drop this year. What do you think?
Probably, I think her being back out with Rolling Loud
Yeah,
would
that's
probably.
her rollout. I didn't even think about that. Her rollout starting, and we haven't had an album from her in 4 years, and that's been the conversation. Her fans are like NM5. They're waiting for the fifth album. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. Her being a headliner is big. That's gonna be crazy. Like, I really want to go. I think tickets are still available, but I don't know if I could do
If there wasn't
$500.
if there wasn't the previous event that we'd be doing,
Maybe we did go to Bahamas.
No,
Huh?
because that's the
Because we're going to Dubai.
yeah. If we weren't doing that, then I would go.
Yeah, because we were just getting back from Dubai like the 20th. I don't know, some 19th. Yeah, that'll be a lot. Oh wait, no, we're getting back from like the 18th. Yeah. And I think Rolling Loud's like the 21st.
Yeah, I think it's the 23rd.
And we're gonna obviously be spending money for that. So like that's literally the money we could have spent for Rolling Loud. It's like yeah. But this would have been a great time. That's like Nicki was like the only other person I want to see in person. Like I've seen Kanye, I've seen Beyonce, I've seen Travis. Nicki is the only other person I really care to see.
That whole lineup is insane.
It's actually a lot of people.
I think it's actually probably the best lineup I've ever seen for a festival.
The thing is, we could obviously afford it, but it's like, I mean, we said we want to do VIP. It's only $500.
$1,300.
No, I thought it was like $500.
Well, now it's not.
It went up.
Well, everybody bought their tickets.
No.
I checked yesterday. It was $1,300. Somebody was reselling their tickets for
per person.
Yeah, for one ticket.
Oh my god.
What does VIP even get you? It gets you like a separate. Like,
I don't even know.
Section.
I just don't want to be in the crowd smushed up with people.
I don't want to be in a crowd.
That's the thing, and I think VIP you're not in a crowd. Let me see.
Like that's the thing about festivals. It's like, yo, I don't want to be around a bunch of hot, sweaty people in New York. Like, not that there's anything wrong with New York, but I can't.
You get access onto festival grounds and VIP areas. So separate areas of just VIP people. I mean, you're still in the crowd though.
Right.
Air conditioned bathrooms. That's messed up. So if you don't get the VIP, you can't get an air conditioned bathroom. Expedited entry. A private bar.
That's 2021 Rolling Loud.
Oh, but it's still probably the same. I'm sure it's still like the same stuff, right?
I don't know, because what do you mean air conditioned bathroom?
Air conditioned bathroom.
I know, but it's City Field. Why can't you just go use the bathroom in the field in the city?
Because you're probably in like a separate. They probably built like like the temporary bathrooms.
Oh, you know what? It's probably at City Field in the parking lots.
Yeah, no, it's in the parking lots. It's the same. See, it's the same thing. You get food, beverage. So live art installations, a private merchandise store, shaded chill areas with seating.
So I don't get to be backstage.
I don't think so.
All right, I'm cool then.
You don't get much more than regular GA anymore.
Well, that settles it. So guess you won't be attending.
I know, but that's gonna be crazy.
But like, let me see if I can pull a few strings. I got New York Connects.
Who?
We ain't gotta talk about that.
You think Kanye's still performing at Rolling Loud in Miami? That's in that next month. I feel like he would have canceled by now, right? Like I'm still kind of mad about Coachella. Like obviously I wasn't going, but I wanted to watch. But maybe he has an issue with Coachella, like the whole Travis thing. Maybe he did it on purpose, right? Saying he was gonna do it just to throw them off.
I'm still against artists doing festivals anyway, but never mind.
I mean, I hope he does Rolling Loud. Because they're excited, obviously, for him. They keep posting about him. So I think they're holding their breath, too. They're like, please, don't cancel. Oh, my God. Can you imagine Kanye and Nicki both being headliners at the same Rolling Loud? I would literally have to go. I would have to.
I wouldn't go.
And if it was Beyonce?
I don't want to be around that negative energy.
That's literally my top 3 artists. I would literally scream. I would scream. But yeah, I mean, we could watch it from home.
I'm not watching.
We'll just be back from Dubai. We'll have to time to chill. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anything else with music?
In other news, no. In other news, there was a clip that surfaced. It didn't really surface. So I don't know when this happened, but basically, long story short, Academics made some comments, I guess, on a Twitch stream about the age of women, and the comment that he made was that there's really no difference between 17-year-old women and 20 or 21-year-old women, besides the fact that one is considered a minor and then one is not. Now,
he's crazy.
For me, I guess first things first. When I was in, so I'm from Jersey. We're from Jersey. Well, you're from New York if you want to claim New
I
York.
lived in New York for 10 years. I lived in Jersey for like 16 now.
Okay, but you gotta make up your mind because every day you go back from
No,
you're a New Yorker in New Jersey.
I'm from both states, like equally. It's been like 15.
Well, you have to claim one.
It's been 15, almost 16 here,
So claim one.
and it's been 10 in New York.
Whatever.
Yeah, but they're
So-
both prominent parts of my life. I can't just claim when I spent 10 years in New York.
Then don't. That's okay. So I'm from New Jersey.
I say New York, New Jersey. I'm from both.
Okay. I'm from New Jersey. So DJ Academics is from New Jersey as well. Went to school down
We
the
went
street.
to
from-
Rutgers, right?
Yeah. Went to school down the street from me. I'm very familiar with him. May have gone to a party DJ Academics through.
When you was in high school?
Probably. I'm sure.
I'm telling you, parents.
I'm sure that I was attending something where he was DJing there when he was an actual DJ. So for me, I used to watch DJ Academics a lot when I was younger, when he used to do like his crazy videos about Chicago gang beef and like violence and just basically just being a gossip, like basically almost dry snitching in a way, I guess maybe is the way people perceive it. I'm not gonna say I feel that way, but that's at least the negative feedback that he's gotten from people being like, yo, you know, you're responsible for like people getting shot and dying out here
That's
because
crazy.
you're sparking beef, the beef's even further when it's on the internet.
Has like multiple lives. Like he has so many different eras.
Yeah.
Cause I forgot about that whole time.
Yeah, and like, you know, that's why he doesn't really do that anymore. But he used to be like, so and so is gonna turn him into a pack and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Like he would be that kind of making those kind of comments, and then, you know, some people spoke out and was like, yo, you know, people, you know, you sparking this up. You got these young kids in the comments, you know, gassing up the beefs, and these things got like 500,000 views, and it has real
Stuff
implications in the
actually
street.
happening,
I'm not from the street. I
Meanwhile,
don't really
he's
want.
hiding out at Rutgers.
I don't want to speak on it necessarily, but I used to watch Academics, and I used to think the videos were funny. So of course, I was a kid, so, you know, different type of entertainment when you're younger. It's not really funny when
You're older. Yeah.
you're older and you have more common sense. Even though back then I knew
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't good.
something about when you're younger, I just think our brains are just wired different.
Just being stupid.
Honestly, because stuff don't be that funny.
But, you know, as all good things, they come to an end, and I really do not like him at all.
He's
I think that
turned so corny. He always was kind of corny though.
I think that this is what happens when I almost equate it to the loser that pledged
Yeah,
a fraternity,
yeah.
and then it basically turned him into a monster. And
Yeah, like they just get this gassed up head.
entitlement,
Like you was known for you're still ugly.
and that doesn't take away anything from his level of success or anything like that, because he's been extremely successful, has successful shows, podcasts, Twitch streams, all that, money, buying his mom cars and houses and all that other stuff. But two things can be true. You can be doing all that from doing corny shit, and there's a lot of people that do corny shit with money. So for me, yes, DJ Academics has more money than me. Yes, he's more successful
Yeah,
than me.
don't you hate that? Like you can't. People feel like you can't, or people act like you can't criticize people because you don't have as much money as them. Like having money don't mean it's not everything,
It's not. So
and don't make you not corny.
So we're gonna get that out the way. Yes, he has a lot more money than me.
But he's still fat and looks like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
But one thing about me, right, I stand on integrity, and one thing about me is that I will never have made money from doing corny shit, and I can stand on that at least. Other people can't, like him can't.
Yeah.
So long story short, I don't really mean to get into him specifically, but he's also made other comments, like he thinks that you can tell how many women or how many men a woman's been with by the way her vagina looks.
Stupid.
So he just, you know, a bunch of stupid shit. He has the mind of like a 13-year-old kid. And then, you know, the unfortunate part is that whole live stream chat and his whole fan base, they're all
They
young
gas
kids.
him up.
So it's like it's always reinforced. I didn't mean to use, I was going to use the word reinforced stupidity. And when you have reinforced stupidity, it just allows for the expansion of more stupidity, right?
And then
Like
that ideology spreading.
Right, like him poking people and, you know, saying certain things about people, and then when they allegedly want to, you know, commit an act of violence towards him, he's saying, yeah, I'm just gonna call the cops, right? So, you know, he's that type of person. And this is just another one of those instances where, you know, he makes comments like this, but this is what happens when corny people get a platform.
And my whole thing is though, where is like, I know he said it was an old clip, but where is like the mindset like, oh, this is gonna get me canceled? Like, where is that headspace? Like, I don't understand these famous people, these influencers. Like, how do you not know that that's something that's literally gonna instantly get you canceled? Like, that's crazy.
I think it's because, well,
He
yeah,
said it was old, so it was probably in a
but
time
it doesn't
before this
matter though,
whole-
right?
Yeah.
Like, who would have ever said that? There's a huge
Keep that
difference,
to
right?
yourself.
Like that's like, come on, bro. Because then, especially at whatever age he is, well, or was at the time.
Yeah, he said it was old. So I think he said at the time he might have still been like college age, like 21, 22, I think.
Yeah, but even in that age, I would have never said that.
Yeah, right? I'm like 22. I just got a job at Prudential and I got a 401k. At 17, I just got my license and I was still in high school. Didn't even know you. Like, that's a huge difference. Like, that's a huge difference. Think about that. Had a master's by the time I was 21, 22. In high school, I was 17. Didn't even have my high school diploma yet. That's a huge difference. He's crazy.
That's a wild, like, I don't know.
Like, that's so weird. That's two completely different brains, two completely different emotional state to me. Like, you know how much like how much changes between 17 and 22, 21? A lot.
We were at a school
It was
at
a
what,
prime,
22, right?
yeah. We was at work already. We was working Monday through Friday. Like, you were going into New York, working in the city. Like,
Not at
yeah.
22.
I was 22.
Oh, yeah,
We were
yeah,
22
yeah,
when we got
yeah.
these jobs, yeah. We were young. We just have, we turned 23.
That is
We turned 23
true.
and then COVID happened. We turned 24 in COVID. Turned 25 this past year.
That is true. Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy, all right? We were mad young.
but this is what, like,
Even at 21, we already had our first jobs. Like, we graduated, we had our bachelor's, had our first full-time jobs, had 401ks and
my confusion is what was he trying to, what point was he trying to
I think
make?
he was saying, because like, you know how we were 17 in college for like a month, you were 17 for like 2 months,
Right.
and then you had people with, we had friends that literally turned 18 in November, December. Like, remember we had friends that had late birthdays. So I think he was more so saying from a college standpoint, like, because it was a conversation about college IDs. Like, if she could go to a college party, I don't care if she's 17, like, she's clearly in college. I guess it was saying, oh, she's about to be 18 because she's 17 for like a month or two. But that does kind of creep me out. 'Cause I was 17 going to college parties for like at least 3 weeks before I turned 18. So it is kind of like, ooh, it's kind of weird. I was 17. Like,
For me, it was like 2 months.
yeah, your birthday is
It was
basically November 1st.
It was 3 months, I think, because we moved in, or at least I moved in like August.
August something, yeah. So then you have September out there. It was like 2 full months.
But even still, in that context, it's like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, what is the
Yeah, what's the obsession with
what's
the age?
so she's about to turn 18, and there's no difference between an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old.
There's a huge difference between 18 who's just fresh out of high school, who never even really experienced life, and a 21-year-old who just went through 4 crazy years of college and got a job, a full-time job, and responsibilities and bills.
If she has a college ID,
Yep. So basically saying like, okay, she's good. She's in college. Clearly, she's about to be 18. I think that's what his mindset was. Weird.
yeah.
Why even bring that up?
Yeah, I'm trying to, in my head, like, that's why I'm pausing here. I'm trying to make sense of what the point was supposed to be, but
Apparently, the conversation was around Tyga and Kylie, I think.
which,
So that was a while ago. So he was, I think, 21, 22 at the time. That Tyga Kylie stuff was like 2000 and what? 15? 16?
you can't wait then for, like, if she's 17, right, and you're not 18, and if you're above 18, it's like, I don't know, like, for me, and this is me personally, people can have their own opinions, don't give a fuck, but for me in that scenario, I can't be 19 and even still like really talking to somebody at 17. And while I know it might be like a minor difference, because then I could be 19 and then they turn 18 and then there's just really a difference of a year. In my opinion, it's like something about that, because that's what happened in when we were in school. It was like, even me being in college and then there was people that were still in high school, something about the that difference was like weird.
What?
Because like
Like people that were in like high school. I mean, like seniors, and you were a freshman.
Yeah, and freshman in college. Something even that was like to me personally, and people can have their own opinions. Even for that, me personally, I'm like, I'm living a whole different life. Like you
Yeah.
still you taking a bus to school.
Yeah, like you, it's crazy. Like I said, 1 year, but think about all the things that are different. Like you're living on your own. You don't have to, parents that have to listen to you. You can stay out as late as you want. You don't have no rules except the school's rules. You living with a whole bunch of other people who are your age. There's people who are 21 already in the same school that's buying you guys stuff. Like you're just on your own.
And this is a point you brought up previously, but it's like, what is? Because for me, it's not. It's like there, you see these instances where these like 45-year-old men date these like 22-year-old
Yeah.
girls. So for me, like where my mind is at, even with the relatively small age gap of 17 to 21, it's like you couldn't find anybody in that age range that's closer to your age range. Like, what is it about the 17-year-old that's doing something more for you than even women that are older than 21, or women that are actually in your age range?
I feel like, and they be trying to act like, oh, age is a number, blah, blah. They be telling themselves, like, it's clearly some type of weird fetish for just a younger girl. The
It is.
pureness, the freshness,
Being able to manipulate them.
yeah. And just feeling like, I have them, right now, and what could be considered their prime in life. And like I'm like having ownership of this person during their prime, so no one else gets to experience them.
Wow.
It's like some type of weird thing.
You should just keep that to yourself.
Like the main thing is, what are you really talking about with somebody who's that much of an age gap? Like, think about the conversation that we have now compared to the conversation we had when we first met. Back then we were talking about clothes and shoes and playing the stupid truth or dare games and the never have I ever and just a little stupid stuff, right? Like music and we young and rich and all, like, this us being just annoying. Like our conversations are way different now. We wasn't talking about stock markets and inflation and recession and what to do with our 401ks and diversity and diversify the profile, like portfolio. Like we wasn't talking about like stuff like that at 17. So what do you at 23 have anything in common with somebody who's under the age of 18, 19? Like those people want to talk about prom and
Twitter.
Who's buying bottles and fake IDs and sneaking into like it's a whole different mindset. Like even think about how back then we were so obsessed with partying, right? Like we were fiending to go out. Right now, if anybody asked me to go out, I would literally cry. Like I don't want to go out. I don't feel like it. Like it's not really my thing anymore. That's a completely different lifestyles now. Like I'm still the same person, but my personality changed. I grew up. I matured. Like I'm different now. And it's like, what do you have in common with somebody who's just about to experience life, like experience being on their own for the first time, and gonna make all those stupid mistakes and have all those dramas and crying about finals? Like that has nothing to do with me anymore. Like, what do you have in common with that person?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Even though the clip was old, right?
It's still relevant.
It's.
And he said what he said. He felt that way. He was grown enough to say that.
That's the thing, and I think that we're at a point now where it's a little bit different. So like. For a tweet, right? Like I don't even have Twitter anymore. But if I was to tweet, I think Twitter has now reached the age where tweets that weren't even necessarily that old are coming to the light, if that makes sense. Like if I could try to explain this better. So Twitter has been around for like what? Like I joined Twitter maybe 13 years ago.
I joined in 2011, so 11 years ago.
Okay, let's say 11 years, right?
2009 though, to 13 years.
I think that I think that the grace period of where people could say wild things on Twitter, I think that part is over, where we give people like, okay, like Twitter was different back in 2012, 2013. It was a different time. People were saying wild stuff, and you could go pull people's old tweets from almost 10 years ago and okay, you get some sort of pass for that. These sort of things I feel like are now popping up more often, where even 3-4 years ago somebody said something wild and then they get their card pulled. If you said something 3 or 4 years ago, and not that people can't change, because I hate when people feel like you can't change even on a daily basis. Like you might not have that mindset that you had 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I hate that. But like, if you tweeted something 3 or 4 years ago, and 3 or 4 years ago you were at a certain age, then it's still not okay. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Because there was things that even at a young age that I knew were wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Like
Look,
even this situation, like when the whole Kylie Tiger
we
thing
knew
was
that shit was
happening,
wrong.
and yeah, we were 19. We were 19 years old. We were literally like around her age. Like Kylie's only 2 years younger than us. We were like 19, 20. Like yo, he like Tiger weird. We didn't think that was okay, and we were in that age group, that 18 to 21 range. Like
And even I think if you want to get into Kanye's response to that,
yeah, Kanye was sick with the whole "You Feel Me" song.
oh well that too. But I'm talking about when he got asked about it. He was like,
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like, he's
"Oh,
smart.
he got in early."
Yeah,
It's like
Kanye
Y'all-
red flag with that. Yeah.
y'all are weird.
And
I
then
don't
even
get it.
Chloe, the sister, was saying, "Oh, I was doing worse things at her age." Like what? She was like, "I was probably messing with a man in his 40s." I'm like, you guys justifying this?
Nah, that whole industry
It's
is
weird.
weird and sick.
Yep.
That money,
Money's evil.
because you know, even if you're not religious, I feel like money. They say money is the root of all evil, but that doesn't mean money just emphasizes people's issues.
Yeah, because you already have to be that type of person.
Having money is not going to make you into a pedophile. I think y'all niggas is just weird anyway. And now you have money and you have the ability to do
Now
it.
you have, now you can do it.
Yeah.
Because something in you should tell you this is wrong. This is still a kid who's not even mentally developed, who's not even physically developed. I don't look the same as I looked at 17, at 25. I'm like, what the heck? I don't even feel the same person. I tell you that sometimes. I'm like, my brain, like, I'm like, sometimes I look at stuff I was saying and doing back then. I'm like, that's not even me no more. Like, who was that? So your brain changes, you know? It's fully, I think it's fully developed at 25 or something like that, I heard.
Yeah. Now niggas is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got there. You want to get into the next topic about men and women in platonic friendships.
Yeah.
You
For
want
some
to
reason,
introduce it? Go ahead.
yeah, I'm interested first. Because for some reason, I don't know why this has been like a topic lately. Like, I'm sorry, I'm chewing these tapioca things for my bubble tea. But it's like, I showed you that TikTok of, it was actually the girl's page, but her guy friends, I guess, posted on it. But it was like 2 guys, 1 girl, trios, like friend groups. And he was just putting like the little arrows saying like it's lit. Obviously, everybody in the comments were like, they definitely like her. This is not going. And well, people just projecting, people saying all the weird stuff. And then it's just been like lately on Twitter, like I just keep seeing stuff. I think I've seen 2 or 3 TikToks. It was like telling my guy friends, I want them, or why are we not together, and seeing their reactions. You have your people who are mad at it, like, why are you guys testing your friendships and being weird, like, and doing this for TikTok? Because, like, you really are messing with people's real emotions. Like, what if your guy friend really did like you? But I guess it was just this test of, like, the friendship. A lot of the time, like, a lot of the responses were like, whoa, like, oh, like, I've been waiting for you to say this. I've been waiting for the opportunity. And then another girl posted hers, and, like, her guy friends clearly were, like, her, like, real friends. Unless they thought, that's why somebody was like, well, maybe if you would have said, hey, I'm drunk, I'm trying to come over, you might have gotten a different response saying, compared to saying, why are we not together? Because, like, some of her guy friends were like, I think one guy was like, go kill yourself. Like, people just be playing, like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, bye. So, obviously, those might be her real friends. But it's just been this thing lately on TikTok and Twitter where people are questioning guy friendships and girl friendships, saying, do they really exist, and how they don't really exist. Because at the end of the day, a guy's gonna take the opportunity. If you're friends with a girl, you get to know her. I seen a tweet today saying, why is it okay for boyfriend and girlfriends? They talk about we're best friends. Like, girls always be like, or guys be like, that's my best friend. But then when you actually have your best friend in real life, why is that not okay? Okay. I was like, that's a good point. Because, like, people be like, like, I think you're my best friend. No, I think like you're my best friend. So it's like, when people say that their platonic friendship, that's their best friend, it's like, that's still the same type of foundation. It's just not that love involved. And it's like, if that's the basis of relationships, then do guy and girl friendships really exist platonically? Like, do you think they really exist?
No. And here's why. And I'm going to give a deep breakdown, and I'm snitching on all those guys. Sorry. So in my opinion and in personal experience, for me, I don't think that they exist unless the guy, and I'll allow you to speak for women, so I'll speak for men, and we can generalize and get everybody in trouble. So for men, in my personal opinion, and of course there's going to be outliers, Of course, not everything I'm saying is going to be perfect for everybody. But in my opinion, I think that they don't exist because naturally, as a man, you're going to want to be friends with somebody first that you're attracted to. Because if you're not attracted to somebody physically, I feel like you're not really inclined to be
like in their presence.
Yeah, like you're not going to want to be around them necessarily. Not that people are shallow like that, but I just think that that's not like a natural sort of.
That's the thing. Just girls be like that too.
Right.
They want their friends to be cute.
Yeah, everybody wants to like, and I'll even say on the opposite side, I think men want to be around attractive men too, because everything just looks better aesthetically. Like if everybody, like you don't want to have a whole squad of fly people, and then you have somebody that's wearing like a potato sack. Like you just
like you want that look when you go out.
Yeah, you want all your guy friends to look good, and you want all your women friends to look good. So I think that just works in general. And in addition to that, I think that you want your guy friends and your women friends to have a good personality, because because looks doesn't mean anything. If everybody looks good, but then they have trash personalities, you're not going to want to be around them. So look at the two criterias, right? You want them to look good, and you want everybody to have great personalities. That would be like the two things that you would want in a relationship.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like they don't exist only because you're surrounding yourself with as a man, if you have a woman friend, one, she looks good. Two, she has a great personality. That's like the things that you would want in your own girl. So it's like you're friends with them, you're communicating with them. It's like, this is like probably the perfect person for you.
But don't you think some guys could look at their girlfriends like sisters? Like, you like my sister?
Right. I think they can.
And they really just do be friends.
Right. No, allow me to finish.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not done. So the reason in the instances where I feel like, so to conclude that part about, I think that guys, when given opportunity, they'll always take it with those girlfriends because they meet those two criteria. They look good and they have great personality, right? That's like mating material, wife material, whatever. The times where I feel like they wouldn't take it are under the circumstances where their life is exactly where they want it, and they don't find value in pursuing that with the female friend, right? So I think that when like guys, if guys are fulfilled 100% in their relationship, I don't think that they cheat. If guys are fulfilled 100% in their life, I don't think that they take the opportunity with their friend because they value the friend.
That guys who are fulfilled 100% don't cheat?
Yeah. Because I think that there would be, I don't think that there would be any reason to, because if your wife is giving you everything you need, then
you'd be excited to go back to see her, like
right,
literally looking up by his wife.
Exactly. And those times where guys do cheat is because that they're not fulfilled, not necessarily not fulfilled by their significant other, but it could even be something internal where they're not fulfilled. They don't feel like they've been with enough women. They feel
they still need that validation.
They need something. There's something internally. But I feel like if a man and maybe even a woman is fulfilled 100%, that not in their mind, it would never happen. If they have the happy life, the kids, the house, the money, everything is working for them, and that's all they wanted in life, I don't think that men or women would cheat in those scenarios. So because of that, I think that and those are the things where the men are like, go kill yourself, stop playing with me, that kind of thing. I think that they're fulfilled in their current status, and that's why they don't take those opportunities, because there would be no benefit for them. Because they're fulfilled in some way. They might be talking to somebody else that they feel like they wouldn't want to mess that up. So that would be a part that's fulfilled. So that's why I feel like they don't truly exist unless...
And most people aren't fulfilled, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think that really anybody is fulfilled in some way.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, yeah, I would say that the majority of people on this planet are not fulfilled. I would say maybe... I would say maybe 10% people, 15%.
I mean, if we look at the divorce rate, which is 50%, if you want to assume at least at a minimum that 50% of people aren't fulfilled, and then you could assume a percentage of the other 50 that are still married, that most of them are probably miserable.
Yeah, at least people like 20%. 50%.
Right. So that gives you like a 70% of people that aren't fulfilled.
I think most people aren't fulfilled in their marriages because they rush marriage or they settle. I think it's one or the two. And I think people have a fear of being alone, so they find somebody and they feel, okay, this is my person, this is it.
Give the woman's perspective. I gave the man's perspective. I think men will only do it if presented under the right circumstances. And
I think the same thing for girls. I think a lot of times girls do it The myth is that girls do it less, but I think lots of times that they do it is because they're not being fulfilled in some way, and somehow they want to be validated. I think that's like the main thing. I think that's the main thing for both, honestly. Not really the main thing though, because some people just are just sick and they just have to be constantly like they're just not meant to be monogamous people. And I do think another percentage is people are just not fulfilled with their partners. Like they feel like there's something's lacking from that they're not getting.
Yeah.
And some people just crave attention and validation from other men or women.
Right. So those are those things where it's like the perfect scenario for somebody to not say no to advance.
To a friend.
Yeah. Because like I said,
now they're being like validated by their friend. Like, oh wow, my friend's a good looking girl or good looking guy, and look, now they're validating me. Like they think I look good, so I'm about to jump on this opportunity.
Right, and you see it happen all the time. So that's just my opinion.
It's a shame. I feel honestly, whoever pursues it though, and if it's for just to see if you get the person or just because you're like a weirdo, it's kind of messed up to ruin your friendships like that. But at the same time, it's like, are they ruined if those feelings were there?
The thing though that I did not consider, which could be true, is that if the feelings are both
mutual,
yeah, you both want each other but still don't do anything, because that does happen. That's a tough one to account for.
Well, those I find them, because those usually end up turning into relationships. And the crazy part is sometimes if they break up, it's bad. And nah.
Like a scenario where you got two married people both like wanting each other, but they're both in their own married relationship kind of thing. Like what happens? That's more so what I was thinking.
I think that's the settling aspect. Like if you didn't, like I feel like life is so short that you should just tell people how you feel.
But
always like.
Yeah, the part about not settling though, because people do change.
Yeah.
Because it would be like, if you're in like a 20, 30 year marriage, like that's obviously not the person that you married. They're not going to be the same.
They might not.
No, they're definitely not. And I would hope that they wouldn't be.
I don't know. I've seen couples that have been together forever that literally would tell stories and like they act just like the same that they acted when they first met. Like you're still the same personality basis.
Right, but your behaviors and actions might be different.
Yeah.
I think those are rare instances.
Don't say that.
No, I think that they really are. Like if we just the numbers that we basically just said, 50% end in divorce, and if you want to say 20% of the other people that are still married, 70% of people are miserable. I think that percentage of people that you're talking about, of course that happens, but I think that that's like a very, very rare occurrence.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of like those couples that swore they were so in love didn't know each other. Because nothing changes that drastically. Like if you know who your person is, and like that's why like I hate the whole time limits. Like I seen a tweet saying like, 10 years as a girlfriend is crazy. I'm like, how is that crazy? Like I don't get these time limits that people put on things, because I think it takes you at least 5 years to really know somebody, and that's minimum. And then people talk about how they don't want to move in with a man. I seen the tweet the other day like, moving in with a man in your early 20s sounds horrendous. I'm like, you guys are just so like miserable and annoying. But it's like. It's like 1 minute they're saying living with a man in your early 20s seems horrendous, and then the next minute they're saying 10 years as a girlfriend is crazy. But I'm like, you're not even getting to know your person. You kind of have to live with them to know them. Like people don't move in with each other to a marriage and then they're shocked that it doesn't work out. Like you guys didn't even learn each other's living habits and how you are when you see somebody every day. Seeing somebody every day is different than seeing somebody once every other week, right? Like you can admit us seeing each other every single day doesn't necessarily feel 100% the same as it did when I got to, we looked forward to seeing each other every Saturday, right? Like, it's different. We're here in each other's space every single day. And I mean, we experienced it in school, so it's not like it was that drastic for us. But imagine, a lot of these couples didn't have that luxury that we had, that we went to school for 4 years together and basically lived together on campus, So they don't even see how that relationship is until they're married. And then, like, oh, we're married and we're going to move in together now. I'm like, good luck. Because you're going to move in with somebody that now that you're married and you don't even know what living with them is like. That for me sounds dumb. I don't care what anybody says. There's so many arguments about moving in before marriage. I'm like, that's dumb. You should move in with somebody before marriage. Like you actually get to know these people before you marry them. That's why the divorce rate is so high. Because people don't know who they're marrying. They don't know.
That's not why. The divorce rate is what it is because of money.
Well, yeah. But that's the name. You know who you're marrying. The money is usually not an issue.
No, not true.
True. I know that you really, really, really were good at money.
But
So I don't think finances will
you would
ever
have
be.
known that whether we moved in together or not.
I know that before we moved in together.
Right.
Yeah, but people don't have those conversations. People don't want those uncomfortable conversations. They like the honeymoon phase where someone love. This is my soulmate, the love of my life. They don't want to talk about money. They don't want to talk about
But they
fears. They don't want to talk about how to raise their kids. They don't want to talk about guilty pleasures. They don't want to talk about that. People don't want to talk about those things.
I disagree. I think that the number one, well, it's not even a debate. It's not, it's like literally, it's money is the number one reason for divorce. And I think it's because circumstances change. Like, and not that I disagree with you saying about having those discussions, because I think that does help the most. Like, that's literally the key. But circumstances change. Like having 3 kids, you just saw what you showed me the balance for
$5,000 a month.
$5,000 a month to send 2 kids to daycare. People don't even make $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
So I think that those circumstances is what drives people, crazy. Then people are frustrated, and money is the number one issue. Like I think that people are
Then
so.
don't you think that's not an issue on their part? Like, why have kids when you're not ready financially to have kids? Like,
Yeah,
but people just like, oh, I have to have kids before 30. I have to have them. You don't. No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. So people just feel like they're stuck on this timeline of we can't date for more than 5 years. We can't wait until this age to have kids. We need to have this now. Like, and then they fight about money. It's like, well, maybe you should have met the person that was waiting to have kids too, and not prioritize getting our money together before we have kids.
No, I agree. I think that one of the most selfish things that you could ever do is bring a child into the world and already put a strike against them with it being a financial issue because you didn't handle your obligations properly.
You didn't do what you're supposed to do before you brought literally a human being into this world that you have to pay for.
I think that that's stupid, first of all.
It is.
Irresponsible. Probably the reason why a lot of people are where they are today. I think the world would be a better place if people stopped having kids.
Like,
at the rate that people have kids.
I don't get it. Like, I think it's just a fantasy for a lot of people. Like, kids, marriage, family, life, the American dream. No, for me, my dream life is being so financially comfortable that my kids are chilling.
And what I'm
I
will say, because this was kind of the thing that we talked about with soft life and people wanting a soft life, but at the expense of others. I feel like in a moment of, I guess, self-reflection, I think I'm like that too in the sense when it comes to jobs, because, I think that there's so many jobs that are so extremely important and critical to our daily lives that people do that don't get paid a lot. And I think that it's a shitty thing for me to say things like, well, don't have kids then, when they play such a major role in society.
Yeah.
So I do want to at least address that, even though I still believe what I believe about you shouldn't have kids, because they can move to a different job, right? Like there's other things you can do. But I do want to highlight that there are people that are in certain situations where they're doing a lot for the world that we don't acknowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs that we don't pay attention to, services like people that clean the sewers, even though I think that they get paid a lot. I think that people that do garbage trucks and things like that, I think that those people do get paid decently. But I'm sure that I'm sure there's some job functions out there that don't get paid a lot and are critical to our daily lives. So I don't want to sound insensitive when I'm saying, you picked that job, now you can't have kids. But if that is the job that you did end up picking, it's like it's tough.
It's kind of like it's like. I mean, it's like, it sounds bad, but it's kind of like, maybe you just can't.
But
because like, why bring them into this situation? Why make your life harder? Like, I just don't get that. Like,
the thing is too.
I mean, like, it's hard though.
I think, and sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
it's okay.
I think that with some of those jobs, much like the Walmarts and it's not like a horrible job, but retail, Target, cashier, those kind of jobs, I think that the argument for me would be different because. I think that you can put younger kids in those types of quote unquote like shitty jobs.
That's what those jobs I think are meant for.
And that's what I think they're meant for anyway. And
college students.
I think that you shouldn't be in those jobs and have kids. I think that you can have maybe the job of being like, I don't know. I don't want to pick on any particular job, and I don't know what jobs don't pay well, but like if you want to be like
maybe somebody who works in like a call center.
Yeah, let's say a call center. What they're making, $10, $12, whatever.
Yeah,
like
$30,000 a year jobs, $40,000 job, $40,000 a year jobs.
Yeah, like those kind of jobs. Like, I think that those are cool when you're a kid. Like $30,000 is a lot when you're younger.
And those jobs you could get with no degree.
Right.
Like people, when I was working at that one call place, like when I was 21, some of them had no degrees. Like those jobs are meant for, like to make a decent wage, low skill job. You don't need to do anything except call people.
Right. I think that those jobs exist, and I think that young people should have them, and I don't think older people should have them. And I think that if you're somebody that had that job, that you should try to transition to the higher level in that same company or maybe different department and try to make more money and then try to go have a kid. But I think people put themselves in bad situations, put their kids in bad situations, and then the country and in the world ends up in a worse situation. But I know that might sound elitist, and I really don't want to sound that way. But because there's so many jobs that are critical. The stock market isn't critical to human survival, but
it's a hard argument.
Yeah, people doing sanitation and that kind of thing is critical to our way of life.
Yeah,
but
I agree with saying like you shouldn't say, "Oh, could you work this job? You can't have kids." Like, no, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that a lot of people don't set themselves up for success, and then they kind of just are like floating through life, and then they have kids, and then they expect that the situation, they're almost shocked that their situation's worsened.
Like, I will say that for me, to be honest with you, and we've had this argument before, I believe, I think that I would say probably 90% of what I do in terms of, I wouldn't say taking care of my health necessarily, because I want to just feel better, so I do that for myself. But I think 90% of what I do in terms of work and school and looking for jobs and building resumes and trying to build skills, I think 90% of me doing that is not even for me. It's for the benefit of potential children and the potential family, not necessarily even for me. Because if I knew right now that I wasn't going to have kids, I would live a completely different life.
Literally, I would be like,
I may not even try to save
trip a month.
I may not even try to save for a house kind of thing. Like, would just be cool living in an apartment.
Yeah, if you knew there's no legacy, because that's like you said. The only reason we're looking for the house is to have equity, so you have a legacy, and so you have an estate, and so your kids are living a nice life in a nice backyard. If we were like today, like I don't think I want kids, we would probably be in penthouses, like traveling every month.
With no money, I probably would work in like a clothing store somewhere. Like, I wouldn't even really attempt to try to make.
I mean, I would still work my job right now because I need this money all for me.
but yeah, so just setting your kids up. What did this have to do? What were you
right. We're talking about guy friends, guy girlfriends.
Yeah. We're talking about marriage and stuff in general.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
and why people be miserable. Yeah.
I don't think they exist.
I think they can exist. I think they do exist. I think they do exist. I just think that
it's
a small percentage of them exist. Because I've seen with my own eyes guy and girlfriends that really are like brother and sister. Like that's my sister. Like I don't know if you were anywhere like that. But now I've seen guy and girl friends that they weren't friends. Like that was your friend, but you wanted more from your friend, and now you're not friends. Ooh, what a shock! Like once you cross that line, now you're not friends. Didn't see that coming. So yeah, I think a small percentage of them exist. Like I think like out of all guy and girlfriend,
1%.
No, like 30% of them are strictly platonic and don't view each other. Either of them view each other anything more. I think there's also a big percentage where one might view it a certain way, but the other one doesn't. And then there's like another small percentage of both of them who kind of view each other.
Yeah, I think that each of those scenarios is based on each other's circumstances. So like you said, where one feels one way and the other one doesn't, I think one is fulfilled at the moment and the other one is not, and that's why it's viewed that way. And if they both don't feel anything towards each other besides the friendship, I think they're both fulfilled. And all those different scenarios, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't even necessarily think that's a sad thing. I think that's kind of like how it should work.
I mean, it's a little sad though, because like it's kind of dumb. Like so many people probably have really good people in their lives that they are no longer in each other's lives because they decided to cross that line, and it's like maybe we should not ever cross that. But I think if either of you are feeling that way, then it's good that you crossed it. Because then why just have those feelings fester for life?
Also think that it doesn't necessarily mean you need to cross it, because I think like you can be in a situation where you I remember I was in a situation like that in high school, and I was on the not fulfilled side, and they were in a relationship, I think, or just got out of a relationship or something like that, right? Like, I never crossed anything. So I think that can also be true too. Like, you can also feel away, but then not still cross the line.
Yeah,
still.
but every time you're around them, you still have that small feeling of like, I like them.
Yeah, punch in the air.
Yeah, like that's for me not healthy. Like
crying.
I feel like if the feelings are there, you might as well just let them be known instead of just sitting on them. Because then that's not going to help anybody in the long term. You're just going to really like, what's the word? Like, what's the word? Like kind of like abuse yourself. I don't know. Like being around them all the time. You're literally going to be like being around them, like torturing. That's the word I was thinking. You're going to be torturing yourself for life. Or however long the friendship lasts. Like, I feel like if the feelings are there, you have to say something. Because that's, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
I never said anything and I'm fine.
Because I'm sure a lot of marriages or relationships out there started off as platonic friendships. And both of them realizing, like, wow, like, you're a really cool person. Like, I really like you. You're everything I would see in a person, like in a husband or a wife. And they're probably fine and prospering. And that's cool too, because all relationships I feel like should have friendship there. Friendship I think is the most important part of a relationship. You should like the person that you're with. That's why that tweet got me annoyed. Like I just don't like when I see those tweets on my timeline. Like, why are you putting this on my timeline when you know people that follow you who live with their boyfriends in their 20s? Like, are you trying to be shady? I just be feeling like that.
You're weird and you follow people like that.
I went to high school with her.
So?
I mean, I feel like I also like to tweet earlier where it was like, people need to realize people are not thinking about you. I'm sure she didn't retweet that tweet thinking about me. Like, and that's how she feels. That's how she feels. But I just hate when people project their like feelings onto others and they make it seem like, oh, that sounds horrendous. I'm like, it sounds horrendous for you. Like, we're best friends.
But for you, it also depends on what side, on what you're feeling. Because if it was the opposite, like, and you were against it, then you would be in support of it. So that also matters too.
That's true. And that's how she feels, and that's how she feels. But it's like people be saying that stuff and never experienced it. Like, that sounds horrendous, but have you experienced it? Like, people be saying what stuff sounds like and never experienced it in your life.
Right, they're just saying what it sounds like though.
Yeah, but then for me, that's giving miserable. For me, that's giving like you're a hater. Because how does something sound bad that you never experienced? Like, people have such this perception of men, and I hate men, and living with men in my 20s, early 20s, that sounds horrible. There's 7 billion people. If that sounds horrible to you, but you never experienced it. Like, people be talking about stuff they never experienced it. Like, it sounds horrible. How? Because of your perception in your mind that men are dirty and you don't want them in your space and you had to clean up behind them and play house. Well, that's how you feel. But there's plenty of men out here who clean up and do their own laundry, cook.
Yeah, but people are also entitled to their opinions.
They are entitled to their opinion, but I don't want to see it.
Then don't be on Twitter. All these social media places are just places of misery. The only thing I can
projection, misery, haters.
The way my TikTok algorithm is just music. So I don't even get to see. I love
my TikTok algorithm. I don't see no misery on TikTok.
I don't see anything, and then I do YouTube where I make money. So it's like, that's it. I don't care. I don't care what nobody's saying on Twitter. Like,
and you know what? I'm starting to get to a place where I just mute people or block people. Like, oh my god, we could get into this next for our last topic, but I had to mute and block so many people yesterday on Juneteenth. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
Yes.
We're not doing this.
I won't get into it deep, but red, black, and green are not the Juneteenth colors, people. This is a Black American holiday. Juneteenth flag. There's a flag that exists. Black Americans were allowed to have our own identity. It's okay. Yes, we're all black, but black is not a flat line thing. Everybody can post their flags and be like, I'm from this country, my culture, tribe this, I'm from this tribe. But Black Americans say, yeah, I'm Black American. No. You are from Africa. You're Africa. We're all black. This is our culture too. No, it's not your culture. It's my culture. This holidays for Texan slaves and descendants of Texan slaves. Doesn't even apply to me because my family and slaves were from Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. So the holiday wasn't even for me. It was for Texans. And that's what I got to say. Anybody else who wants to make this a Pan-African holiday, African holiday, all black people holiday, red, black, and green flag, unfollow me. And that's all I got to say. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but I'm just saying I'm learning. I'm say all that say I'm learning. And instead of me going into people's mentions and arguing with them yesterday, I just simply unfollowed or muted. And I need to start doing that just going forward. But the thing is, maturity though, you can't do that with everything. Like some people might have different opinions, and that's okay. But I still like you as a person. I still know you in real life. I still like a lot of what you tweet and retweet. I'm gonna keep following you, but that one tweet annoyed me. And it's just like at that point you just gotta log off the app, don't even speak, and just go. But I see why you deleted Twitter. I see it more and more every day why you deleted Twitter.
There's no point. Like it doesn't even make people money. Like it doesn't.
It does.
I know people get opportunities sometimes because maybe they might have hit a lick on a tweet, but it's not worth it.
I mean, not everything has to be making money.
It does though, because nobody's opinion matters.
True.
Our opinion on this podcast doesn't matter. The only reason we're doing this is for money, yes or no?
That's the only reason we're doing it. It could lead to money, but it's fun.
Well, all right. Well, I'm doing it for money. I don't care about.
It's fun. I like talking.
I don't think it's fun, and I don't like talking.
Oh my god! How you gonna say that and then expect people to want to subscribe and follow you if you don't even like what you're doing?
I think that I've heard
Well,
a lot of really successful podcasts that people have said
Well,
that.
yeah, I've heard it too, but they
Okay.
already reached that point.
But they were saying that the whole time. Cause that's just me personally. I don't like talking. I don't think it's personally fun. But you do things for money, right? Just like a job. I don't think that my job is particularly fun or enjoyable.
But our whole point of this podcast that we also mentioned before in our bio is that these conversations we have off camera anyway. The only difference right now is the lights are shining in our faces and we have mics and headphones. But we literally talk
That's a
about
big
these.
difference.
I mean, it is. But
And me holding back my opinion, my actual true opinion.
then don't hold it back. We could be a unique point of view and don't hold it back. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Like life is short. Just be you. To say what you how you feel. Like I be mad controversial on here and don't even care. Like if people got a problem, at the end of the day, I'm alive. I'm healthy. I love my life. I love me. Like I don't care what anybody has to say. Like so, just say what's on your mind. Yeah, let it all out. Let it all out. Yeah, when the camera's off, you do be talking crazy sometimes.
I talk very crazy.
Your opinions are really crazy.
Really crazy, a lot more vulgar. I can't speak like that on the camera.
You can.
No, I can't. I don't even think that would make sense to do so. I think that see, because I look at everything like a business. That makes you more of a liability.
Not really. If people like you, they like you. Like
Incorrect.
isn't Joe Rogan's podcast really controversial? I never listened to it. But.
Right, but he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any ads.
Yeah, but he's like the most paid podcaster.
Right,
like, deals
through Spotify. But that's it.
Yeah, but so that's fine.
No, it's more than fine. It was $100 million. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
I mean, not everybody could be him.
But even his opinions aren't. He's not. His opinions are controversial because of his voice itself is a large audience. So if he says something about a vaccine, then people go crazy. But he's not up there saying F this person and blah 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 and this B and blah blah. Like he doesn't
we're not
talk
saying
crazy.
that, though.
No, but that's how I feel about things.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. I can't come on here talking
okay.
crazy.
But you could still say how you feel about it without going as crazy.
That's what I do.
Okay.
That's it. Because I would have had different words for academics if we want to go down that route.
Yeah.
But you gotta tone it down. You do. That's what it is.
I don't be holding back. But I'm not as vulgar as you.
Yeah,
Like you see my opinions on and off camera pretty consistent. I be saying the same stuff, but I'm not as vulgar like with it. Like I just be blunt. Like I'm just like, nope, not for you.
I'm extremely blunt.
Yeah, you are. But I mean, you're still blunt here, but you're just not vulgar. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could be. I think creatively, that's probably just not the person I want to be. Like, I don't even want to be on here like slandering people either.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it so many times about like you said, a couple of complainers.
Yeah, we just complain on here.
But I think that's the thing, though. Like, I think people will come for that. They come for the controversial opinions. They come for the kind of speaking from an annoyed standpoint because, you know, not everything is all flowers and roses. Like, people are annoying.
It's not.
People are
But
dumb. And, like, you got to let it out. And that's just, this is our hour or two to get that out. And, like, and we're not always angry.
I'm always angry. Well, you make me angry because I don't see any of this stuff.
I know.
So you bring it to me. That's why
I mean, this last topic wasn't like an angry thing. The platonic.
It is though, because that wasn't.
Yeah, that's just like the realisticness of it. I mean, then it turned into an angry thing about marriage and about how people don't be dating people that they like or marrying people that they like.
It is true.
It is true. That's why sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes the truth gotta be harsh and gotta come across as way for people to get it. Like if we're up here being nice, our message doesn't get across.
The thing about it though is that even if you do that, there's always going to be people that don't. Like even if your point is extremely clear and you're actually correct, you're still not going to get everybody to agree with you.
Yeah.
Even if you're right.
Yeah.
And I also think that there's certain things that people debate about that aren't opinions. Like there's no some things that are debated, and it's always the funniest things that people debate about. They're not to be debated. Like you can't debate a fact.
Yeah.
Because a fact is a fact. No matter what, you may not like the fact that it's a fact, and some people might like the fact that it is a fact.
That's
but
what I was feeling about the Juneteenth
a fact
stuff.
is a fact.
That's how I feel about the Juneteenth stuff. The fact is, the Juneteenth flag is red, white, and blue.
And another fact is that I think that all of the people that have your type of opinions are part of the reason why there's so much confusion and why those things exist. I think that you saying everybody's black, but then not everybody's black, it makes no sense.
No. I said everybody's black when everybody's Black American. Like, we're our own separate ethnicity.
Right, but you can't say that then, in my opinion.
Yes, you can.
Because I don't even think Africans are black people.
Well, if you want to get into specifics, yes, the term black started in America.
And that should be it, right? Because even when people say that Dominicans are black, I'm like, why are you saying that?
Yeah, like Dominicans have African heritage and DNA, but they're Dominican, and they're ethnically they're Dominican, nationality they're Dominican, race race. I think black became a worldwide thing now though. Cause race, you would say that they were black, white, or whatever they were mixed with Spaniard. Like a lot of those Caribbean islands are a mixture of stuff. Mexico, they're a mixture of like stuff. So it just gets confusing in that term. But my whole thing with saying that is like, you know, you go to Africa, you go to Nigeria, it's like, oh, the Yorubas and the I don't want to sound ignorant. Was it Igbo, Yoruba, Fulani? Like they have all their tribes, and there's so many countries, and everybody has their own ethnicity, and they say, "Oh no, I'm Nigerian, I'm this, I'm that." But then the second you come here, it's no, we were all slaves from Africa, and we're Africans. Don't forget your roots. It's like nobody's forgetting their roots, but how come you guys don't have that same smoke for Jamaicans? No one be like, when Jamaicans be like, just as Jamaican food and Jamaican music, no one questions them. But when a Black American says this is Black American food, this is hip hop, this is Black American music, no, hip hop came from this person, from Jamaica, and this person, this. No, it didn't. Like it's just we never get respect for our separate culture because I think our culture is so cool that everybody Black wants to just leash on it, so they don't want us to have our own identity because they're jealous. I feel like, and that sounds crazy, but I think they're jealous because they don't want us to have our own identity. They think we have an identity crisis, and we want to stray away from Africa. Nobody wants to stray away from Africa if my DNA is from there. But culturally, I never even stepped foot in that continent. How you want me to identify with something I never even experienced? My culture is here. This is my country. My ancestors built. This is my culture. And they don't, like I said, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Bahamians, everybody has their own culture and ethnicity, and that they are allowed to boast and say, this is our music, our food, our this. But then when we do it, no, we're all people from Africa. I don't know anything about Africa. Like that's not my. I don't know what country my family comes from. Even if I did, I don't identify with that. I identify with the South.
If everybody came from Africa, though, do they claim white people? That's
that's people's point. They're like, you guys don't say that when Europeans be saying I'm Italian and I'm this and that. Nobody comes from them. If we really want to get down to it, we all come from Africa. But how come when we want to distinguish ourselves as no, you guys want to be divisive. And separate yourselves. Nobody wants to separate anything. But this is my culture. We've been here hundreds and hundreds of years.
What if we just start repping their shit then? We should just wear their garb.
That's what I'm saying. When Nigerian Independence Day comes, I'm flying the red, blue, green flag, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna fly the American flag and the Black American flag. I'm gonna wear their stuff. I'm gonna come to their Nigerian Independence festivals and come bringing and make baked mac and cheese and candy yams. I'm gonna come playing hip hop music. Cause why are we playing Afrobeats at Juneteenth events? Like, why can't we just have our respect? That's my issue. I love Black people from all over the world, every ethnic group, every country. But can we respect that we're different? We have different cultures.
I hate talking about like done with
It
talking
just makes me
about.
passionate, and yesterday made me mad. Like
I'm done talking about the black
yesterday,
African thing. I couldn't care less.
I
But
know, but it just yesterday really
the
triggered me.
real issue is because people feel that way because of the message that was put out.
By our own people.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Black Americans, African Americans, whatever you want to call them, are confused.
everybody wanted to be a union. Then
Everybody wanted to be African. They wanted to go back to Africa.
and then people didn't want to, and now there's a confusion between black and African American and who's what and who qualifies for this and qualifies for that.
It's our own fault.
It's our own fault.
It's our own fault. We couldn't unify, and we had all these different groups. There's Pan-Africanism. There's, Marcus Garvey and his movement. Then you have like people like Al Sharpton and then the coining of the term African American. Like, and that's confusing because we feel like I'm African and I'm gonna live in America. I'm African American. It's like, no, you're not. You're whatever country you came from, American. Like, you're still a different ethnic group. And like, I can't even talk about this because it just makes me so mad. But it's our own fault in a way, yeah. Because there's just so many.
Not in a way.
We could not unify at all. There was identity crisis. Everybody wanted to just identify with a continent they never been to. And they just had this yearning for the motherland. Oh, the motherland. Like, everybody just wants this identity thing when our identity is here. Like, look around you.
I went back a few generations. I don't see no roots to Africa
At all.
I don't relate to that. Well, I don't want to sound.
Yeah, and when we
ignorant,
say
but
that,
I don't relate to it.
we
I
don't.
know nothing about anything.
And when we say that, we sound like, oh, you guys are coddling to the white man. I'm like, you guys live in colonized countries as well. You don't realize that? Like,
All the African countries are colonized too.
it's worse over there. If we want to really talk about it, that's why you guys had to run over here. Like, it just gets
South Africa.
It gets me so mad.
Apartheid happened in Africa.
Like, people be like, I'm not repping no red, white, and blue. Then why are you here? You could go. Like, I'm not trying to align with white supremacists. I'm just passionate about the country my people built. Like, they built it. That's the bottom line. They built it. They were here. The roots are here. Our roots are here. Yeah, part of it. Our roots are here. So I'm going to have pride for it. I'm not going to have pride for the bad parts of it. I'm going to have pride for the good parts of it. And for what my ancestors had to endure and go through. And they didn't flee to no other country. They stayed here and they fought it out.
And the worst parts about this country don't even come close to the worst parts of other countries.
Exactly. And these people don't even have it together over there. They be fighting over different tribes and this tribe and that tribe. And they be doing crazy stuff over there. The way they be killing girls for strictly have, like, I saw a girl who had a differing opinion for like religion. They like burned her alive. I'm like, they don't do that over here. And you guys want to talk about having pride for our country? Yes, I have pride for our country. The good parts. And you the same way you have pride for your colonized country. Like, please don't. I just get so mad. Oh my God. I get so mad.
But you know what the beautiful thing about it is? When you delete Twitter, it doesn't exist. Twitter's not real.
You're right.
I don't pay attention to any of these debates.
It made its way to TikTok though.
But that's
and
okay.
On Instagram, you go to Shade Room, and there's a red, black, and green flag for Juneteenth. Like, oh.
But you can delete all of this shit and none of it exists, because once the internet goes down, when Instagram goes down for whatever reason, like it has before, and people are freaking out, is your Instagram down? Is your Instagram down? Once it's down, it's gone. It doesn't exist.
But people's the real world still exists, though.
Right. People's mentality will still exist, but it doesn't have any impact on anything.
But it does though, because they had the Juneteenth festival at the MetLife Stadium, and an African taco truck was there. And it's like Afro taco. What is that?
But even
they was playing Afro beats, and it's like we were driving around Harlem yesterday. You see the red, black, and green, like. Seeing that, like, I even seen tweets of people who have the same mindset as me saying, like, they seen those flags and they went home. Like, is this because our people are still so confused out there? So it's like, it still exists in the real world. And it's just like, it makes me so.
I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but like.
The internet amplifies it.
There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do. And I just had to just find happiness in.
And it's like that with anything.
My truth, and just make sure I spread that to our kids. Like, teach them who they are and be proud of your American ancestry. Like, don't try to latch yourself onto this content you never even visited before just because our DNA is linked from there. Like, we've been here for centuries. Like, this is your ancestry is here. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, people always gotta feel like they gotta latch onto Africa because they wanna, they have the beautiful dresses. I mean, we have culture too. We have culture here too. Like, it's just sad. It's sad. And Juneteenth literally triggered me. Because nobody even knows what the day was even about. Like, at the end of the day is really for Texans. If you really want to talk about it. And descendants of Texan slaves. It's not even for our ancestors who were in North Carolina and South Carolina and Mississippi. Like, the day wasn't even for us. Like, It's
What
just,
are we even celebrating for real?
that's what I'm saying. Like, why did the day become a national holiday?
But it's like that
It
with
should have just been strictly Texas. I don't get why it even became a national day.
it's like that with anything though. Like I don't.
It's so performative and weird.
I get commemorating things, but even like why like Cinco de Mayo, like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, even that stuff, like it's not a slap in the face to Mexicans. Cinco de Mayo, you have people in America talking about Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. Like it's like they're making a mockery of it.
July 4th.
I mean, July 4th kind of makes sense. The United States independence, whatever. The day we all were, even though we weren't free. That's why it does get sick. Cause it's like black people wasn't free though.
So why celebrate anything is basically what I'm saying. Like for me personally, I'll speak. I don't want to speak for anybody else. For me personally, I have no business celebrating July 4th. It wasn't independence for people that look like us.
And like a holiday like Juneteenth, right? It's like
we were already free.
And what I even emphasized on like on my Instagram story, I was like, you know, it was cool to, especially Black Americans, like those of us who actually are descended from slavery. And you know, even if you're a Black person in America whose parents immigrated here, sure, like celebrate it, acknowledge it, but don't forget what this day is about. Because then you have people who are promoting their stuff on this day that's not about you. It's like, don't forget who this day is about. Like, stop bringing yourself into this. Like, don't bring yourself into it. When your parents came here on a plane, like, don't bring yourself into it. They didn't go through that. Yeah, they went through their own stuff in their home country, definitely, but they didn't go through the same thing that happened here, and they didn't go through it in this country. So it's like this. You could celebrate and be happy for the Black Americans and be happy for the descendants from Texas, and acknowledge them, but just don't forget to acknowledge them. Like these Juneteenth festivals should be having Texas-based soul food, like music from Texas artists, like stuff like that. You know, like it's just
that's why I don't even celebrate it. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's not for us. It's literally a Texas thing. Like the star is on the flag, the Texas star is on the Juneteenth flag. Like it's not even for us. Like I'm happy because that's still our aunts are descendants of slavery, but they still went through what the Texan slaves went through, but it's still not a day that's connected to me personally. So It's just that day triggered me. I'm actually really mad that this is like a big deal now. It just it's so ignorant that people don't even do their due diligence and do their research and understand what the day actually means and give us our distinction. Like, please, you wouldn't go to any other Independence Day from any other country and go there with your flag or your culture stuff. You would be immersed in their culture. Like when they have the Caribbean Day Parade in New York, or like you immerse yourself in their stuff. You know, what they wearing and the foods that they're eating. You don't go there with your own stuff.
You trying to show up with American flags?
Yeah, like why would you do that? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there with my Jordans. You know, Michael Jordan, Black American. I'm gonna go in there with my Jordans,
swinging American flags around.
Black American music. I'm gonna come in there with a plate of collard greens, whole soul food meal, and open up a food truck. Since you guys want to do that, we're gonna do it too. Like, I just hate that this whole thing, we can't respect the differences amongst each other. Like, we all have beautiful cultures. Like, why can't we all respect that instead of feeling like they gotta hijack it? It's like so egotistical and crazy to me. Like I know we cool. And I know you guys all want to be a part of this and take credit for it. But So yeah, that's my rant for today.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been the A Couple of Things podcast. We out of here. Goodbye.
Look, I feel like we always do 1 hour and 40-something minutes, right? We like a clockwork. Give me 5.
Sorry for everybody that had to deal with that. That was me slapping the mic.
Give me 5. I really like this jacket. It's giving Tuskegee Airmen.
This is
Speaking of Black Americans.
A very nice jacket. Mm-hmm. Currently on my grill. Go ahead and buy that.
Oh, you're selling it?
I've been trying to get rid of this thing for like a year.
I'm really mad I didn't buy that Homer jacket that I wore last year.
Yeah, you should have bought it. And
I was looking at pictures.
You're never
going to
find it again.
Yesterday.
You're never going to find it again either. That was like a very rare.
It was so cozy.
2000s moleskin helmet laying bomber.
It fit on me perfect.
You're never going to find that item again. I've never come across that item ever again. It's not going to happen.
It's not.
And they got it for a steal. Sad. Yeah. All right, y'all. We out of here.
I look crazy today too, just to say that. But yeah, I'm sure you guys already see it. We're doing a dress down day today. No makeup. Don't look around like that. Yeah, I had work today, guys, but that's another thing. I'm fine with my job having giving us work because, like I said, I don't think this should even be a national holiday. But
Okay, goodbye.
yeah, white people at home kicking their feet up today. Like,
Bye.
that's 6.